Numbers chapter 11. The people complain. Now the people were complaining bitterly against the Lord. The Lord heard it, and his anger was aroused. A fire from the Lord flared out against them and burned one extremity of the camp. Then the people appealed to Moses, and he interceded for them to the Lord, and the fire died out. They called the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord was inflamed against them. Now the rabble among them had greedy desires, and even the Israelites raised a lament once again and said, "Who will give us meat to eat? We remember the fish we ate without cost in Egypt, the cucumbers, the watermelons, the leeks, the onions and garlic. Now our appetite is gone. There's nothing to look at, nothing but manna." Now the manna was like coriander seed and had the appearance of bdellium. The people went about gathering it up and then ground it between millstones or pounded it in a mortar. They boiled it in a pot and made cakes with it, which tasted like cakes made with oil. As soon as dew fell at night on the camp, the manna too fell with it. Moses heard the people wailing, family by family, at the entrance to their tents, and the Lord's anger blazed out. Moses too was displeased with the people. Then Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you treated your servants so badly? Is it because I do not find favor in your eyes that you have burdened me with these people? Did I conceive all these people, and did I give birth to them, that you request me to carry them in my bosom to the land you promised to their fathers, as a nurse carries an infant? Where would I get meat for all these people when they come wailing to me and say, 'Give us meat to eat'? I cannot myself alone carry all these people. The burden is too heavy for me. Take my life rather than treat me like this, I beg of you, if I find favor with you, and let me not experience such misery." The Spirit given to 70 elders. The Lord said to Moses, "Call together 70 men from the elders of Israel, whom you recognize as elders and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, and let them take their stand there with you. I shall come down to speak with you, and I shall take some of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. From now on they will share with you the burden of the people, so that no longer will you bear it alone. You shall say to the people of Israel, 'Consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. For you have raised a lament in the hearing of the Lord, saying, Who will give us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. The Lord will give you meat to eat. You shall eat meat not only 1 day, or 2, or 5, or 10, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until the smell of meat comes out of your nostrils, and it becomes loathsome to you. For you have rejected the Lord who is in your midst, and have raised a lament before him, saying, Why did we ever leave Egypt?" And Moses said, "The people with me are 600,000 foot soldiers, and yet you say, I will give them meat, and they shall eat of it for a whole month. Will sheep and cattle be slaughtered in sufficient number for them? All the fish of the sea would not be enough for them." The Lord said to Moses, "Is there a limit to the power of the Lord? Now you shall see whether or not my word is to be valued." Moses then went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He assembled 70 men from among the elders of the people and placed them round about the tent. The Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him. He took some of the Spirit that was upon him and put it on the 70 elders. Now when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied. But this they did not do it again. 2 men had remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad and the other Medad. However, the Spirit came on them, for they were among those who were registered, though they had not gone out to the tent. As they prophesied inside the camp, a young man ran and told Moses, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua the son of Nun, who attended Moses from his youth, said, My Lord Moses, stop them. But Moses said to him, Are you jealous on my behalf? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would send his Spirit upon them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. The quail. A wind arose, sent by the Lord, that drove in quails from the sea and let them fall on the camp, covering the distance of a day's walk on one side and almost a day's walk on the other side, all around the camp. They came up to a level of about 2 cubits from the ground. The people were up that day and the whole night and all the next day gathering the quails. He who gathered the least had 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. The meat was still between their teeth before it could be consumed, when the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and he struck them with a very severe plague. And that place was called Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the greedy people. From Kibroth Hattaavah, the people moved on towards Hazeroth, where they made a halt. Miriam, Numbers chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron challenge Moses. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses with regard to the Cushite woman he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. They said, Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Has he not also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than any man on the face of the earth. Then all of a sudden the Lord said to Moses, Aaron and Miriam, Come out, all 3 of you, to the tent of meeting. The 3 of them came out. The Lord came down in the pillar of cloud, and standing at the entrance of the tent, called Aaron and Miriam. When both of them had moved forward, he said, Listen carefully to what I say. If there is a prophet among you, I reveal myself to him in a vision, and I speak to him in a dream. It is not so for my servant Moses, my trusted steward in all my household. To him I speak face to face, openly, and not in riddles, and he looks at the form of the Lord. Why then did you not fear to speak against my servant Moses? The Lord's anger blazed out against them, and he departed. The cloud moved away from above the tent, and Miriam was there white as snow, struck with leprosy. Aaron turned towards Miriam, and he saw that she was leprous. Aaron then said to Moses, My Lord, I beg you, do not charge us with this sin that we have foolishly committed. Let her not be like the stubborn whose flesh is half eaten when it comes out from its mother's womb. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, Heal her, O God, I beg of you. But the Lord said to Moses, If her father had in fact spat in her face, would she not have hidden herself in shame for 7 days? Let her then be confined outside the camp for 7 days. Only then she will be admitted again. And so Miriam was confined for 7 days outside the camp, and the people did not move on until she had been taken back. After that, the people set out from Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Psalm chapter 58. Against unscrupulous judges. Your rulers, are your decrees just, and are your judgments upright? No, you willfully commit crimes, you deal in violence and corruption. Even from the womb the wicked go astray, from birth they are wayward liars. They are poisonous like deadly snakes, deaf as the adder that blocks its ears. So as not hear the voice of the charmer, how skillful his spells may be. Break the teeth in their mouths, O God, tear out the fangs of the lions, O Lord. Let them vanish like spilled water, let them be trodden down like grass that withers. Let them be like snails that sink into slime, like untimely birds that never see the sun. Unawares, let them be uprooted and swept away by the whirlwind of your retribution, like brambles and thistles. The upright will rejoice when they are avenged. They will bathe their feet in the blood of the wicked. Word will go round then, surely the righteous are rewarded. Surely there is a God who gives judgment on earth. Mark chapter 6 verse 1 to 29. A visit to Nazareth. Leaving that place, Jesus returned to his hometown and his disciples followed him. When the Sabbath came, he began teaching in the synagogue, and most of those who heard him were astonished. They commented, "Where did the man get these things? What is the wisdom that has been given to him that he even does miracles? Is he not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph, and Judas and Simon? His sisters too, are they not living here among us?" And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, "Prophets are despised only in their own country, among their relatives and in their own family." And he could work no miracles there, but only healed a few sick people by laying his hands on them. Jesus himself was astounded at their lack of faith. The mission of the 12. Jesus then went around the villages teaching. He called the 12 to him and began to send them out 2 by 2, giving them authority over evil spirits, and instructed them to take nothing for the journey except a staff, no food, no bag, no money in their belts. They were to wear sandals and were not to take an extra tunic. Then he added, "In whatever house you are welcome, stay there until you leave the place. In any place does not receive you and the people refuse to listen to you, shake the dust off your feet and leave the place. It will be a testimony against them." They went out and preached that people should repent. They drove out many demons and healed many sick people by anointing them. John the Baptist beheaded. King Herod also heard about Jesus because his name had become well known. Some people said, "John the Baptist has been raised from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work in him." Others say he is Elijah, and others he is a prophet like the prophets of times past. But when Herod heard of Jesus, he exclaimed, "This is John whom I beheaded, but he has been raised from the dead." For this is what happened. Herod had ordered John to be arrested, bound, and put him in prison because of Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip. Herod had married her, and John told him, "It is not lawful for you to live with your brother's wife." So Herodias held a grudge against John and wanted to kill him, but she could not, because Herod respected John. He knew John to be an upright and holy man and kept him safe, and he liked listening to him, although he became very disturbed whenever he heard him. Herodias had a chance on Herod's birthday when he gave a dinner for all the senior government officials, military chiefs, and leading men of Galilee. On that occasion, the daughter of Herodias came in and danced, and she delighted Herod and his guests. The king said to the girl, "Ask me for anything you want, and I will give it to you." And he went so far as to swear to her on oath, "I will give you anything you ask, even half of my kingdom." She went out to consult her mother. "What shall I ask for?" The mother replied, "The head of John the Baptist." The girl hurried to the king and made a request. "I want you to give me the head of John the Baptist here and now on a dish." The king felt very much distressed, but because of his oath in front of the guest, he dared not refuse her. So he sent one of the bodyguards with orders to bring John's head. The man went and beheaded John in prison. Then he brought the head on a dish and gave it to the girl, and the girl gave it to her mother. When John's disciples heard of this, they came and took his body and laid it in a tomb.